Hi, it's Lars and I'm bringing some Star Wars heat to your screen right now. I know the movie has been in theaters for 5 billion years already, but I only just managed to finally watch the latest episode of the Star Wars saga, The Last Jedi, this week. And I left the theater with so many thoughts and so many questions and conspiracy ideas, and I took it to podcast episodes that I had shelved because I didn't want to get spoiled, and YouTube videos that I didn't watch because I didn't want to get spoiled. And finally watched all of these, and most of them posed the question and tried to answer the question, who are Rey's parents? In that sense, I want to speak out a spoiler alert. If you have not seen the newest film or any of the Star Wars films yet and want to do so unspoiled, pause this video and put it on your watch later list because I'm gonna have some spoilers. Unexpectedly. I really enjoyed watching the entire film. I thought it was beautifully shot, it was great cinematography, the animation was well done, unlike some cringeworthy animation in past episodes. I love the character development, the decisions that this character make seem not only driven by circumstances but also by themselves, who they are. I really enjoyed that. It had some interesting surprise moments and plot twists and unexpected turns that you probably wouldn't have thought would occur in the second episode of a trilogy. Some of these things I feel like could have been the final showdown. That just leaves more room for high expectations for the next episode, which we have 2 years to wait for. So, one thing that really bothered me about the movie though, and that's very personal, is that they introduced the character of Rose, who kind of just disturbs the ongoing romance between Poe and Finn. And yes, I do believe that that is canon. I am not just a crazy fan that wants to read something gay in there. I do believe it would make sense that they would have a gay love story in this new trilogy. This one seems very likely. And yes, I ship it, so come at me, bro. So I kind of hope that introducing Rose is just a retarding moment for that plot arc, but at the same time, she was a driving force for her and Finn to go to that casino planet. It was a nice homage to old Hollywood and kind of had this vegan approach to animal cruelty. Being vegan, I enjoyed that. Same as I kind of like the idea of Chewie feeling guilty about eating one of the porks with all the other porks watching him. Let's all go vegan. The primary question of this entire trilogy though is, who the fuck are Rey's parents? According to an interview Daisy Ridley gave, you are supposed to have all the answers to that in The Force Awakens. Whatever that means. Most YouTube videos I watched about it are titled Who is Rey's father? Do mothers count these days anymore? Apparently not. And most people have certain contenders that kind of would make sense and arguments that lead into one direction, but there is one idea that I kind of had throughout half of the movie that none of these videos covered. But before that, all the other contenders, Obi-Wan Kenobi could be her dad or grandfather, based on this one scene in The Force Awakens when Rey has this encounter with the Force, and you hear the voices of both of the actors that have played Obi-Wan in the past 2 trilogies. But I don't think that's enough proof. Another idea that the final scene of The Force Awakens kind of sparked in most people is that Luke had to be her father, with someone else being the mother. We'll get back to that later, right? The one theory that most people kind of agree on is that Han Solo and Leia Organa are her parents. And even without all the looks and little moments that these characters have together in these past 2 films, there is one thing that George Lucas has said, and that is that Star Wars is like a poem. It rhymes. Considering that, it would make sense to have Ben and Rey be twins that have been separated at birth for whatever reason. We'll find out in episode 9, presumably. Unless they keep that answer for another trilogy. The idea of them being twins makes absolute sense. They kind of counterpart each other, which is why I really liked the idea Ben proposed to Rey that they should start something completely new, the 2 of them, combining their forces, or well, bad choice of words, combining their connections to the Force with the good and evil, which would mean that they would yin-yang and balance each other out very well. But apparently that means that they would have to kill everyone else first to start anew. I really like the idea of them being twins, and it would make sense that Leia and Han are her parents if they're also Ben's parents. And that's where my conspiracy comes in. Similarly to how in The Last Jedi the question of who are Rey's parents is literally asked in the movie and literally answered by Ben Solo. I don't think we heard the truth. I could see that we also don't know the truth about who are Ben Solo's real parents. is it really Leia and Han? While watching The Last Jedi, it kept popping back up in the back of my head. This one idea that might be a possibility, and I thought maybe it's interesting for anyone to. It's pretty clear that Leia is Rey's mother. And if we continue on the theory that Rey and Ben are twins, they must have the same mother. Is Han the father though? The idea that I came up with is that maybe, and I know it's crazy, and it probably is infused with my soap opera fan brain. What if Luke is the father? The Force is super strong with Luke and Leia already. These genetics combining and creating Ben and Rey. I know incest is weird. It would be the most direct continuation of the bloodline. It works in a poem. Yeah, that's basically it. That's my theory. I just wanted to put that theory out there because no one had the idea apparently. Or maybe they just thought, oh, incest, that's like too... Nah. Leave me your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think about that? And if you're not a fan of that theory, who do you think are Rey's parents? There's new heat coming out every Friday, so don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss anything. Yeah, see you next Friday. Unless I don't have an outro.
The galaxy is free from evil, thanks to the goodness in Darth from the past.